Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to KT Garage. We're not going to turn any wrenches today. We're going to talk about a totally different topic. I normally work on the cars, whether building something or fixing something, but we're going to talk about something totally different today. Now this has actually been requested by a lot of the parents that are having kids that are going to college or having kids that in high school but in the process of getting to college, and they have quite a few areas of concerns. And they want me to kind of put this video together to kind of help the parent realize what the problem is and how can they do, or what can they do to fix it. So as an engineering manager, I've hired quite a few people over the years, and I interview a ton of people almost on a yearly basis, because I have this intern program that I interview kids that fresh out of college or even in college and trying to get an internship. And I can tell you that I can see there's a shift in communications and social skills of the kids today in the current generation. I believe the current generation is Gen Z, and so I'm a Gen X generations. I'm in my 50s, so I can see there's a huge shift between the Gen X and then the Gen Y, which is the millennials, and then of course now we have Gen Z. And the problem with the Gen Z is that we're the one that causing it, right? We're the one that coming up with the internet and all these communication tools for us to succeed, but then we don't realize that the kids are having a huge impact on the internet and all this online communications. So as for me, as I was growing up as a kid, we come outside and play, right? You guys in your Gen X, you know that we don't have the internet. It wasn't invented until the 90s. And so we're out there playing, and you get with your friends and you play, you form that human-to-human interface and interactions. That's how you properly communicate and play with each other and learn from each other. And then guess what? Leadership. So out of those human interactions, you can see who has leadership skills and who's not. Who's going to be the follower, who's going to be the leader. And we can identify from a very young age. These days you don't see it unless your kids are into sports, where they are kind of forced by their parents to go play with the team, and hopefully the team kind of forming some kind of bond and communicate with each other. But guess what? They have coaches, they have like all these people that keep watching them. Back in my day, we don't even have a coach. We just like friends get together and let's play. So let's fast forward to Generation Z, and the problem is these kids are playing video game by themselves. They kind of isolate themselves with electronics and all constantly on their phone, get in their room, close the door, and just getting on the internet. Whether they're playing games together or whatever, is through online. They don't have that personal connection from human to human anymore. And that's a real problem for these kids, and I'm very concerned. And I have kids that are growing up in the Generation X as well, and I'm also seeing the same patterns. And a lot of my friends are having same issues. They kind of lose track of reality, really. Everything is about electronic communications, and guess what? That's not how the workplace is structured. That's how the workplace is working, like the way they envision when they go out of college, and they don't know how to communicate to another person face to face. And I've seen it in a lot of the kids that do an internship, the kids that interview for the internship. I can see that they don't have that skills at all. Doesn't matter how smart the kids are, they lack that social skills, and it is extremely important in the workplace, because at the workplace it's all about teamwork. I would say about 98% that require teamwork. Now that 2% maybe the individual contributor, where they just like do one project by themselves, and when it's done, they move on to the next project. But I guarantee you, you work for a big company, a big corporation, everything is about teamwork and leadership. Either you're gonna lead or you're gonna follow, and that's the only choice you have. And everybody wants to be a leader because those are the people that are making money. They make a lot more money than the people that follows. That's just how it is. And the leaders are again rewarded for what they do. I mean, they try hard and they try to get ahead of themselves. But your kid's not going to be a leader if they can't talk or they can't communicate. Although they're great in writing, they might be great in talking, but talking in front of another human, they're not going to have that social skills. Not to mention they have to lead a bunch of people. They're going to fail miserably. So here's my thought on, as a parent, and I spoke with my kids all the time about their social skills and communications. And look, I'm just like everyone else. I struggle to get them to realize that electronics is a problem, the phone is a problem. You have to realize that you can't just, do that, keep doing it, and you think it's okay, because it's not. Yeah, you're smart, you go to school, and you get good grades. That doesn't mean that you're going to get a job and you're going to hold your job, or you're going to be someone as you work through your career. That's really important. At the job place, it's all about teamwork. And let's dial back a little bit in my college days. I can tell you that the internet is there. The internet is invented in the 90s, which I go to college in the early 90s. And we all forming groups of students to study. Because, none of us can survive on our own, really, except for I can see a few super smart kids that think that they don't need us. But guess what? A lot of us are having, let's say, above average intelligence. We can score, B and A's, but we're not perfect 4.0, and that's okay. But guess what? If you have the skills to approach others and form a team and study together, you combine all that knowledge and you learn from your friends. That's how you succeed. And I can tell you that throughout my career, I'm not the smartest kid in the room. I have to admit, my intelligence level probably above average. I mean, I get a lot of A's and some B's, and that's okay. You don't have to have a perfect 4.0, but what I have is the leadership abilities. I always trying to be the one that lead the group. And it doesn't mean that you keep talking all the time and showing that, hey, you're the leader. You lead by examples. People follow you because they think that you know what you're doing and you're going to lead them into success. And that's really important, but that skill, you're not going to learn it being on the phone and play video games with other on the internet. It's just not going to happen. So we're talking about trying to get your kids to realize that it's a problem, lay off the phone, and start talking to your friends, and start doing things like sports or whatever it is that you do. You have to get together in a group and you play and you interact with one another. That's how you're going to be successful in the workplace, and there's no way around it. I'm very worried about the next generation. I think they call them Alpha. So the generation Alpha is all about electronic age and AI powered and all of that. This kids is not going to be able to communicate with anybody, being so isolated. And so you have kids that are growing up and you just have to be very careful, and you have to talk to them daily about what the problem is, what the issue is, and help them to understand that, hey, it's a problem, you have to work on it, and they're not going to listen to you, but you have to keep trying. That's part of being parents. There's nothing we can do about it except for talk to them. And I do the same. I talk to my kids all the time, but half the time they don't listen. They hear, but they don't listen. But in the back of their mind, they realize that, hey, Dad has a point. And I can see that my kids changed over the years. And I think with my help, it helped to accelerate that. And hopefully, by the time they get out of college, they can find a job and be a leader. Because you're not gonna go anywhere without being a leader, and you can be if you work real hard at it. So, well, that's it. I don't want to take all your time listening to me talking about the problem with the late generations, but it is a problem, and as a parent, it is our responsibility to deal with it on a daily basis. It's not easy, but you can do it. I appreciate you guys listening and supporting KT Garage. If you like the content, please like and subscribe. Thank you.